welcome back to Shelly's Millions. I just want to thank everyone that's been watching my videos. Please make sure to take a moment to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this video with anyone that might be unemployed or wanting tips to save money that might benefit from watching my channel. It really does help me out. It helps with that YouTube algorithm to promote this video so that more people see it. So thank you for that in advance. In today's video, I want to talk with everybody about reporting your hours once you start going back to work to the EDD. I am starting to get a lot of questions on that in the comments, which I hope means that a lot of you are starting to safely go back to work. And since that is coming up, I wanted to cover that in today's video. Before I get too far into telling everyone how to report wages, I'm going to go over a couple of the scenarios where you might need to report wages. So maybe you're not back at work full time, but you are returning part time. You do still need to report those wages to the EDD. If you are working part time as like a YouTube creator or an Uber driver or a Lyft driver, and you are still making income from that, you do still need to report that to the EDD as well. So those are a couple of the scenarios where you might need to report earnings and wages. Definitely try to answer all the questions on the EDD certification as honestly as you possibly can. You don't want to find yourself caught up like in some kind of like fraud situation. So just make sure to answer the questions as truthfully as you can. So of course you're going to answer everything truthfully. And I just want to remind everybody that if you go back to work, but it is not the same amount of hours that you were previously working, you are still supposed to qualify to receive EDD unemployment benefits. Now, there's the base range, which for me, I'm at the top end of that, and that's $450. So if I were to go back to work, but my hours weren't the same, it could change the amount of the base pay that I am receiving. However, as long as you still qualify for even $1 of regular unemployment benefits, then you automatically are approved to get the additional $600 in unemployment benefits through the CARES Act through July. It's really July 25th because that's the last Sunday that it's available. So even though they say it's available through July 31st, it looks like because EDD counts the whole work week from Sunday through Saturday, that the last full week that that $600 is available for actually ends on July 25th. Now, they haven't mentioned if they're going to do a partial payment for that last week if we're still unemployed, but hopefully if you're watching this video, it's because we're going back to work, and hopefully by July 26th, we'll be back to our regular hours and our regular earnings. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, so back to that EDD FAQ page, how to report work and wages. If you work or earn any wages while receiving unemployment insurance UI benefits, you must report these wages when you certify for benefits. You can certify with UI Online or by mail using the paper continued claim form. When certifying for UI benefits, report your work and gross wages, wages earned before any deductions. During the actual work week you worked and earned the wages, not when you received your pay. Note, the certification week always starts on a Sunday and ends on a Saturday. And then on that FAQ page, it's going to go ahead and give you a couple of examples for what to put if you have returned to a regular W-2 providing employer where you know your hourly wage. There are further instructions that I'm also going to read for if you need to report self-employment wages. So stick around for that. The link from the FAQ page actually takes you to a YouTube video on reporting self-employment. And of course, I'm gonna link that in the description down below. That was actually really informative. I actually called this morning and oh my God, guys, I actually got through. I called the general number. I've called it so many times I have it memorized now. So that number for you is area code 833-978 2511. So I called that number this morning. I called 3 times and I actually got through to the hold music, and I only held for 20 minutes. So I was really excited to get through to somebody. That made me really hopeful. My last employee, they got their issue resolved, so maybe try that number. I called around 11 a.m. is when I got through, and I wanted to ask because I did just get monetized on YouTube, and I don't want to get in trouble by not reporting that income to the EDD. So initially, when I asked, surprise, surprise, I got conflicting information. So initially she was asking a lot of questions. She was like, well, do you make more doing YouTube? And I was like, I don't really know. I don't really have my final amount. And she's like, but you haven't returned to your regular employer? And I said, no. And she said, but you're still going to? I said, yes. And she was like, well, you don't need to report it because we default to the W-2 earnings. And I was like, are you sure? Because on the questionnaire, it says you must report any income. And if I had another job, if this was an actual job, I would need to report even if I made like $10. So I was like, are you sure? And then she asked her supervisor, and the supervisor said, you should tell her to be as truthful as possible. She said, but we can't really recommend for you what to put on the certification because then they could be held liable. So initially they said, no, don't list it. And then they said, try and be as truthful as possible. And then my digging on the EDD FAQ and in the video about reporting self-employment, it definitely appears like you need to report that. So if you're making a couple of dollars here and there every day on YouTube, you need to report it. If you are still driving for Uber and Lyft, even if it's not as much money as it was before, you do still need to report the earnings. Now, here's where it gets a little bit tricky, especially for me. I started my channel during the pandemic, as I think you all know, and I've had to buy a little bit of equipment. This light that is shining on my eyes right now, I bought that. I have a microphone that's on the way. I'm getting a tripod. I took some courses. I've spent some money to try and improve the quality of the channel. So you do, when you're reporting self-employment, you do only report your net income. So for me, I'm actually not gonna have any net income for the weeks that are upcoming that I need to certify. Now, if you're an Uber driver, I used to drive Uber at one point, so I feel you. It's been a while. It was 2014 when I did that. But if you're buying gas, if you need to write off the mileage, like whatever you're writing off, you don't need to report that as earnings. It did get a little bit confusing and muddy even on the YouTube tutorial from the EDD site about what to do if you don't know the exact amount that you're gonna make for that week. So I don't quite know. Just do your best to try and answer truthfully, because it says really clearly that if you don't accurately report earnings, they're gonna charge you an overpayment fee and a 30% penalty basically for being dishonest. So not only are you gonna need to report the money that you're making, but if you don't, they will definitely come collecting that overpayment and they will charge you a 30% penalty. So you definitely wanna avoid that. You wanna be as truthful as you can. I guess this Sunday when I'm gonna certify, I'm gonna try and estimate my daily earnings so that I can get a weekly rate that I earned. If you're self-employed, your name of your employer is yourself, and the address can be your home address, they said. That video is really helpful. Definitely check that out. And definitely be honest with them about what you're making, because I would hate for anybody to get penalized. So I hope that this video was helpful. Just make sure to report your earnings when you're certifying. So every 2 weeks when you go on, you do need to tell them. I've had a couple people ask me if they still need to report it, if they are getting the PUA portion of the unemployment benefits, and yes, you do, because basically every 2 weeks, the EDD needs to check to make sure that you haven't gone back to work or that you're not working more. They don't know when you've gone back to work, whether you have, whether you haven't. I hear that some businesses in California are gonna start opening up again soon, so I'm excited for that. I know a lot of my employees are not really excited to go back to work because they're definitely in the camp of people that are benefiting more by receiving that extra $600 a week payment. So my guess is that when we bring everybody back, at least at my job, that their hours will be reduced. So don't forget, if you start working again, you definitely can still receive benefits, and especially that extra $600 a week. Now, about the penalty and the accurate reporting and all of that, I don't know if they're going to be a little bit more lenient on that, because I have a feeling that since like the unemployment issue has blown up so much that they probably aren't prepared for the way people work anymore. I don't know that they're really prepared for people that have a full-time job and have like all these little side hustles. And I definitely recommend, if you are wanting to be a millionaire, get your side hustles going. And you know, I'm nervous about doing YouTube and it affecting my unemployment. I would be really sad if I lost my 600 in favor of $10 a day or whatever it is that I'm gonna wind up making. I'm gonna make another YouTube video on that soon. But like, this was kind of my dream, and I don't want to put my dreams on hold just because I might lose unemployment. Additionally, if your employer is asking you to go back to work, I highly recommend accepting that offer. Maybe asking them if they can keep your hours reduced a little bit, because this extra $600, which honestly, that's the only thing keeping me afloat. I started this YouTube channel because I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna pay my bills? I have to get something else going because I can't live off of $450 a week. I can't make my mortgage payment on that. It's just the reality of my situation. So that extra $600 a week has allowed me to breathe. It's allowed me to sleep at night. That extra $600 is a savior. But what I'm worried about is that ends on July 25th. That's the last week that's going to be available. So you want to go back to your old employers if you can, because I have a feeling that the job market is going to be incredibly tight. So don't see the short-term goal and say, oh, I don't want to go back to work because I'm making more on unemployment. Also, I'm not sure how that would play out, you know, if, you know, did you refuse any work? If your employer asks you to come back and you don't, you could potentially like mess up your chances of getting unemployment at all. So please, please go back to work if your employer offers you work, because you want to secure that job for when the unemployment, like the extended benefits run out. You don't want to find yourself out of work and looking when all this is over, because I have a feeling a lot of businesses are not going to open back up, and that's going to make the job market really competitive. I was scared for a little bit that my job wasn't going to open back up, and that means I'm not the head manager. So that means like I'm competing with my boss and my boss's boss for all the same jobs. So if you have a job that will take you back, I mean, like, you know, that's what I would do at least. I can't tell you what to do, but that's what I would do. That $600 is temporary. It's not going to be there. But talk to your employer. Maybe say, hey, you know what? I've got it good on unemployment. I'm a little bit nervous about coming in as frequently as I was previously, you know, until everything's really safe and I feel more comfortable. Can I reduce my hours? Can I work a shorter shift? And then as long as they're not bringing you back at the hours and the amount that you were making prior to all of this, you should still qualify for unemployment benefits. So definitely have an open line of communication with your employer. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe, leave me a comment, leave me that thumbs up. It does so much for the channel. So oh yeah, I'm gonna slang Webull. I'm not an affiliate, I just like them. If you're looking for a platform to invest your money on, try out Webull with an initial deposit of $100. When that settles, you get 2 free stocks, one of which will be valued up to $1,400. If you use my link, please let me know in the comments down below what 2 free stocks you got. I really like it. It's a simple platform. It's an app, so check that out and let me know if you like it. And again, I upload videos on Saturday and Monday. So see you again soon. Thanks for watching Shelly's Millions.